Welcome to this week's episode of Your Stock Request for the 12th of August. Hi, I'm Michael Gable, Managing Director at Fairmont Equities. Your Stock Request is the weekly video where I take your requests and analyse the share price charts. So this week we have Linus, European Lithium, IDP Education, Australian Finance Group and BHP. So if you have a request, please send it through. Make sure you're getting the free newsletter every Thursday. But if you'd like our best ideas, you need to be getting the Dynamic Investor Report, which I send out every Tuesday. But if you do enjoy these videos, we'd love you to share them on social media or even leave us a review. Our main business is in portfolio management. So if you'd like to become a broking client and have an account with us, please give me a call and I can explain how it works. And all the advice here is general only. So this is the Linus chart. If I just zoom out, we could see it's had a nice run, sort of end of last year, early this year, peaked in March, and then we've just had this sort of classic consolidation. So as we could see, we've had sort of these big ranges down, looked a bit ugly, but then it started to slow down and tighten up, smaller ranges. And of course, before long we had the breakout. So, you know, depending on where you draw this line here, sort of end of June, early July, we had the breakout. Look, this is a stock I like. I had it in the Dynamic Investor Report back in June here, and it's one that I've bought for my clients and I'm still holding. So this just still looks really good. So we've got this breakout here, obviously a bit of resistance near the old high to come back, retest, and then it's launched higher. So I'd expect a bit of, it looks like it wants to consolidate here in the short term. Now whether it pulls back a bit or just heads sideways, it's impossible to know at this point in time. But just given the size of this consolidation, when I look at this move here, it just looks like it's still at the start of the rally. So I think we've still got quite a bit more upside in Linus. Okay, European Lithium. Look, I quite like the look of these, lithium stocks in general. I don't have this one for any of my clients, but we did buy back into lithium a few weeks ago, stocks like Galaxy, PLS. I had a look at Vulcan last week. I think it was last week in the video, and that looked really bullish. And this is just another lithium stock that also looks quite bullish. So we've had this big move up in January, big volume, and then the heat's come out of it, consolidated, and now it's starting to get going again. So what I could see here is, you know, if we firstly just look at, if we're starting from here at this low, we firstly needed it to get past this high. We could see it tried, came back, and then broke there a few days ago on really big volumes. So that would have been the first buy signal. And then clearly yesterday, just really following through. So massive day up, massive volume. So it looks like this is clearly broken out of this base. And just like Vulcan, I'd expect a significant rally from here. I think it'll take out that high. So I'd be more than happy to keep holding on to this one. IDP Education, so a bit of a messy chart over the last year, but most recently we had this gap up here which was quite positive. We could see that, you know, if that was the old high, it gapped up over the old high and closed near the high, so that was clearly a positive. It just hasn't really kicked on. It's found a lot of resistance at $30 and fell away quite sharply. It's bounced, but what I'm concerned about is this high, under this high. So it's basically got close to this high. Instead of just going sideways, it's starting to come back. So we've got a lower high, bit of a concern. So what I prefer to see is this recent low in July hold, so about $27. If it could stay above 27 and just consolidate here, then that would be in preparation of another move. Otherwise, I think if it takes that out, it starts to look a bit negative. Okay, AFG. So fairly decent trend up into February before falling away quite sharply. And then we could see that it's leveled out. However, since this point here in April, we could see it's basically got some lower highs here and a lower low. So, a little bit of a concern there, but the way it seems to have reversed above this low and is starting to move again, to me is, it's starting to look a bit better, starting to look a bit more positive, like it wants to get moving again. I guess this chart isn't too dissimilar to Syra that I looked at recently. It had it started to get going after leveling out and made a spectacular move, but I wouldn't expect this one to do anything too spectacular, but it does look like it's trying to move again. I'd be looking at this level here around 290. I'd like to at least see it clear this massive line of resistance, and if it does, that would be very bullish, and I think it would take out this high pretty quickly if that were to happen. So wait for 290 first. Finally, BHP. So look, I'm always looking at BHP and commenting on it. Over the last sort of several months, I've been noting this major long-term line of resistance, which was quite significant. So you could see here going back to 2007, and it did break that, as we know, at the start of the year. And as I've said at the time, a big multi-year resistance line like that to get broken should lead to a longer term move higher. So I think we're still just at the start of the move for BHP. I think there's still much further to go. Coming back to the daily chart, we could see that the recent break to a new high was a positive. At the moment, it's holding on there for now. So I think it's getting ready for the next move higher. At worst, it maybe comes back into the range here near $50. But the longer term outlook for BHPs in terms of the chart still looks very good. Okay, well, that's all for this week. As always, if you have your requests, send it through. I'll try to cover it next week for you.